Hello, welcome to Duck It. In this video, we are going to be discussing what are the most essential things to have in every duck hunter's duck bag. If you haven't already, please hit like, please hit subscribe. It only takes you a quick second and it really does help the channel. This won't be a long video, it's just going to be a quick overview. The most important thing, obviously, goes without saying, is that you need to have your duck license, duck stamp. Make sure all that's good. I keep mine in a large waterproof box. I just know it's always in there. Normally, I have a sportsman, so I have my hunting and fishing license together. I normally just keep them together in my duck bag because during the off season, like during the winter, I should say, never really fishing. I'm only going to be duck hunting, so I just keep it in here and I know it's always going to be there. In here, I also keep my wallet and keys, and you can pick up some face paint if you need it. I always wear a face mask though, so I just kind of have this on standby. And it's not maybe quite essential if you're a pretty experienced duck hunter, but when I was first starting, it actually really helped to have a little guidebook so I knew exactly what I was shooting. The males are pretty obvious, but sometimes the females look quite alike. So I always thought it was helpful, and I've just kept it in here since. But beyond that, like I mentioned a second ago, face mask, early season when it's hot. Right now it's mid-September and it's 96 degrees today. I have a thin mask for teal season, then I have a thicker one when it gets to be the winter season, or colder I should say. And a hat if I don't need the face mask that day. A pair of gloves. In the winter I keep a second pair of gloves, sometimes even a third. Bungee cord, just for being on the boat. It does kind of matter also, I should say, where you hunt, what situation you're hunting, if you're hunting out of a boat, if you're going to be hunting on the bank. If you are hunting up north where it gets really cold most of the season, if it's down south where it's pretty warm, again, all that matters on what things you might need in this duck bag. But the basics, of course, along with your license, I should say the hunting regs are extremely important. I always just kind of keep mine bookmarked right here to the waterfowl section, and then we always know the sunrise sunset tables at the back, at least for North Carolina. Normally I highlight the counties that I'm always going to be hunting at, so I can quickly just find those. And then I also keep a map of the different places that we hunt. GPS normally works, but it's not a guarantee, so I like to just have a hard copy of each one. They're very thin, doesn't take up any extra room. If you use a jerk rig, keep a little string in here so it doesn't get all tangled, messed up, and damaged. One of these headlights, if you do not have this style of a headlamp, I think you are behind the times. They are $20 on Amazon. They're made in China, but they'll last a good few years. They're very bright. I know it's daytime, but I mean, at night they're bright as could be. You almost don't need a spotlight if you have one of these. So we all hunt with one. But then even with that being said, I do keep an actual spotlight as well. Can't go wrong. This one works pretty well. It was just a cheap, I think, $20 one on Amazon. Rechargeable. So, can never have too much light when you're duck hunting, setting up in the dark. Of course, binoculars, a knife, goes without saying. Duct tape goes without saying. I do like the camo one though, just because, sometimes if you need to use it or fix something and it's going to be visible to the ducks, I really don't want the shiny bright silver one, so I just have the camo version. Multi-tool, of course, is essential for anybody. Normally Walmart around the holidays, you can find them for about $5. Everyone knows you have your duck calls, whatever area you're hunting, which ones you need. Always keep a pack of zip ties. Again, always end of clearance season. I think these, I have some on the boat, I have some in my deer bag, duck bag, everywhere. Can't go wrong with having some of those, along with, if your gun ever gets dirty, you need to clean it out there in the field, some rim oil is always a great idea. Doesn't take up much space. And then along with that, I have had my gun jam once. Shell, I guess, was wet when I fired it, didn't know, so the wad got stuck. I did actually need this, so it came in handy once, and I have a few different cleaning kits. It doesn't take up any room in your duck bag. Even though all duck bags are going to be a little different, this is a pretty standard one, I'd say, standard size. I got it from Gander Mountain, but you should be able to fit these things in any duck bag. And then these are actually pretty interesting. I might do a separate video on these in the future. They are the noise canceling electronic earmuffs. Hunting by yourself, they're actually pretty useful. Hunting in a group though, with people talking to you, I really don't tend to use them. So again, kind of situationally, might use them, might not. And then, speaking of situationally, if you are hunting, again, down south, early season, definitely need some bug spray. Definitely need ThermaCell. I did a separate video on that. I can link that below. Very useful. Then I keep normally spare pouches of the replacement little mats and the fuel. But then as the winter goes on, gets colder, normally have my thicker face mask, as I mentioned earlier. If it's going to be a really cold day, I actually might bring these. Every now and then I do use them. Most of the time it's not that cold around here though, but then like I said, I always have a second pair of gloves, sometimes even a third, because you will be surprised on how often your gloves get wet when you're around water. So sometimes I even keep 2 spares, and just in case someone else in the group does need a spare pair, they don't take up a lot of space. And then some of y'all out there, depending on, again, if you're hunting flooded timber, you're not in a boat, you might want a shell belt. I just have a separate ammo box that I use. So I really don't ever need that. You can argue you might want to keep a wader repair kit in there. Again, normally hunt from the boat, or I'm on the bank and I'm not very far from the boat. I don't ever keep this with me just because I know I can make it through that hunt and get home and then fix my waders if I needed to. So again, it's going to depend a little bit on the situation of where you're hunting and what type of weather you're hunting in. And then kind of the last few things, well, lighter, definitely in case anything happens to you out there, make sure it works. Batteries, same thing, make sure that they're new and they actually work. I keep a spare flashlight that works. Again, can never go wrong with too much light. And then actually, I'd say if the license is the #1 most important thing, I'd say your TP is your #2 most important thing. Pun intended. You absolutely have to have this in your duck bag. And then some Walmart bags. You never know. I know these might seem like a lot, but really, I mean, they're all pretty lightweight. They're all small. Once you pack them at the start of the season, they stay there the entire time. You don't have to pack your bag constantly every outing. We are out there in the elements, in the cold, the wind, the rain, out there on the water, early in the morning. I would definitely rather be more prepared than less prepared. If there is something that I did forget though, please go ahead and leave a comment below. Keep them positive. Again, it really does help the community if we all share our experience and our information. If you haven't, again, please like, please subscribe. If you've gotten anything valuable out of this video, it really would help grow the channel. But until then, see you next time.